Alright, welcome to class. So for today's practice, it would be really helpful to have a couple blocks and a strap. If you can take some time to substitute some things that you can find around the house, that's perfectly fine. If you can't find anything, that's okay too. Throughout the practice, I'll give you some ideas on how to modify, how to just make the props not absolutely necessary. So for the first posture, we're going to begin in Child's Pose. We use the props, the two blocks, to prop up your arms. What you'll do is you'll have them on the back of your arms like this, and you'll take your arms in reverse namaskar. So bring your thumbs to the nape of your neck. Now if you don't have blocks, instead of that, you can take Melting Heart. It's a lot the same, but instead of Child's Pose, you'll bring your hips over your knees, and then you'll crawl your hands forward, and then set your chin down to the ground. If at any point that becomes uncomfortable, feel free to take Child's Pose. Just take your knees out a little bit wider and rest. So begin there. Take a little bit of time to arrive on your space. Take a deep inhale in through your nose. Exhale side out. Sink your heart as you breathe out. Take another focused, direct inhale in through your nose. Exhale side out. When you breathe in and out through your nose, create some restriction in the back of your throat. Seal your lips. Keep them sealed as you practice Ujjayi Pranayama. Draw your belly button up and in toward your ribs. Hold that contraction as you breathe, slowly and diligently. Two more rounds of breath to open your shoulders, soften your heart to the ground. And slowly rise out. Feel free to set your blocks off to the side. Take your legs out in front of you. Come into Dandasana, which is a seat with your legs long. Now, bring your hands right up next to your hips. And just lift yourself up. Draw your hips back a little bit. It'll help straighten your legs. Inhale, reach up toward the sky. And exhale, forward fold, Paschimottanasana. You can create a little slack in your legs if you need. Just relax down. At the beginning of practice, it's really nice to move a little bit organically. Find what your body needs. Take some time to move in ways that your body's calling for. Inhale, slowly rise up. Stick your right leg and step it over your left. So get the ball mounting your foot down and then hug your knee into your chest. Hang out here, just lift your heart up toward your knee. So have it acknowledge what's going on the outside of your hip. You can take your right hand, press it down into the ground for extra support. This is really to set up this big twist usually, but for today, all I want to do is take your knees on top of one another. Cross your right knee, cross your midline. Just release. Take the other side. So just take your left leg over. Just release. Crawl yourself forward, come into a tabletop position. Bring your knees underneath your hips. Take a second to march out your hands and your knees. And exhale, cat pose. Dome your spine out. Tuck your chin as tight into your chest as you can. Pull your belly up and in. Keep your lips sealed. Inhale, cow pose. Roll your shoulders back. And length and strength across your belly. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow. Fill up entirely. And exhale, cat. One more time. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, cat. Just walk your hands a little bit forward. Take downward facing dog. Inhale to a plank squat. Sink your hips toward your heels. Gaze a bit forward toward your hands. Now your knees are going to kind of pop out to the side naturally. That's okay. Let's take this to warm up a little bit of your back across your side bodies. Exhale, down dog. And to pedal out your legs. Warm up the back of your legs from your ankles all the way up through your hamstrings and your hips. Inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, travel to the top of your space. Take a ragdoll pose. Take a nice wide stance. Forward fold. Release your grip, bring your toes together, and slowly rise all the way up. Exhale, Samastitihi, bring your hands to your heart. Take a moment. Find a dedication for practice. Give yourself some time to bring a focus to your mind for your practice. Yoga, as well as Western psychology, say that for something to be kind of solidified in our body and our being, it either takes one of two courses. Either it's a repetitive action, something we do again and again, or it's a mindful decision to do something with full awareness, full focus, and full purpose. The purpose of intention, sankalpa, is to take the latter. Essentially break this cycle of our mindless routines, the mindless habitual patterns that we have. Hold on to your focus as long as it's useful, especially during practice. Next, inhale Tadasana, mountain pose, reach up toward the sky. As you reach up, drive down and into both feet evenly. Grip both feet to the ground, draw the ball mount of your foot back toward the heel. So much so that you can turn on your quads, try to lift your knees away from your shins. Pull your belly up and in. Exhale, forward fold. Bend at your knees. Find the ground. And begin to collapse your chest down on your thighs. And begin to straighten your legs. It's okay to pedal out your legs a little bit. Take some motions if you need to. Inhale, grounded airplane. I want you to crawl your hands forward. Your blocks are really useful for this. You'll press into the blocks. Lift your left foot behind you. Now this is very akin or very similar to halfway lift. So if you don't have blocks, simply press into your shins, lift your heart. You're going to roll your shoulders back in either posture. If you're in grounded airplane, dig your heel toward the back of the room. See if you can squeeze your standing leg straight, as long as you stay grounded on your hands though. And exhale, plank pose. Plant your hands, step back to a high plank. Hold here. Press the ground away. You don't want your hips too high or too low. You want them right in the middle where you can lift your hip points towards your ribs. Exhale, lower all the way down to your chest. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Lift your heart, or Cobra Pose. Lift your heart, really no weight in your hands at all. You lift away, draw your elbows toward your heels. And exhale, downward facing dog. And take the other side, inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, travel to the top of your space. Inhale, halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana, lift your heart, roll your shoulders back again. Find a little strength in your belly like in cow pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Tadasana, rise all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. You need to position your blocks. You can put them a little bit in front of your feet, just a tad. Inhale, grounded airplane. Lift your right leg behind you this time. Lift your heart. Dig your heel back and point all 5 toes toward the ground. That way your hips are square. Exhale, plank pose. Plant your hands, step back. Inhale, hinge forward this time. And exhale, Chaturanga. Bend your elbows. Keep your shoulders above your elbows here. Inhale, upward facing dog. Press to the tops of your feet. Lift your heart forward. And exhale to down dog. And inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, travel to the top of your space. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, Samastitihi. Bring your hands to your heart. Now, I want to address one of the flagrant issues that we see in yoga. So, hang on here for a second. There's a lot of times that we see small issues, but the flagrant ones, the big issues, usually have to do with either like your knees or your neck or commonly your shoulders. So, your shoulders become an issue because they're a really mobile joint and we want to protect it. So, because it's so mobile, they're commonly susceptible to injury. So what we do a lot of times is you'll like step back or jump back to Chaturanga. But sometimes people will land in 2 different ways that really are painful over time and they cause injury. So one of those is to land with your straight arms. That doesn't give you any give whatsoever. And as I land, all the shock sends all the way up my arm into my shoulders. That's a big problem. The other one is if you land and your shoulders go below your elbows. So you're too low here. And if you do it over and over again, it causes problems over time. So, in the flow today, I want to build in the step back, but we can do it piece by piece. So, follow me here. So, inhale, Tadasana, lift up. Now, exhale, forward fold. Without the blocks, find the ground, maybe crawl forward a little bit. Inhale, grounded airplane, lift your left heel. As you exhale, find the ground and kind of just hop back a couple times. Slowly lower to Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale to down dog. Try it on the other side. Inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, travel to the top of your space. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold a bit deeper. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, grounded airplane, your right leg high. And square up your hips, find the ground. Exhale, Chaturanga. Press into your palms, hop back a couple times. Lower halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale to down dog. Inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, travel to the top of your space. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Sink your tailbone and reach up when you're comfortable. Squeeze your knees together and a little lift in your heart. Even though your low back is working to lift your heart up, pull your belly in as well. We'll add on to what we did earlier. Exhale, standing split. Fold down, kick your left leg high to the sky. Now in standing split, it's nice to open up your hip. Feel free to do so for now. Press into the ground. You can bend your standing leg if you need. Now inhale, square up your hips, find the ground, press your palms to the floor. And exhale, Chaturanga. This time, kick a little bit high to the sky with your left foot. Create a little space. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, kick your right leg up. And exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior two. Find your warrior pose. Bring your front knee over kind of like the middle of your foot. Reach forward and back effortlessly. And exhale, extended side angle. Reach forward and then open your heart up toward the sky. Use your bottom arm. You're going to push your knee behind you. You keep the weight of your body in the blade of your front foot. Inhale, star pose. Get big. And turn your feet in just slightly. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, Skandasana. Come to the back of your space. You can sink down into your heel or maybe stay up on the ball of your foot, whatever feels better. Moment here to move around if you need. Keep your shoulders over your hips. I would rather have your shoulders over your hips and you up high like this, rather than working real hard to get down and you're hunched over. Take yourself a couple moments to find what feels right for you. Exhale, low lunge. Come to the top of your space. Square up your hips. Inhale, grounded airplane. Come forward. Now, and again, grounded airplane is just for flair. You can certainly do halfway lift. It's almost identical posture. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. I should say, it has a lot of similarities. Exhale, standing split. Kick your right leg high. And again, look underneath your shoulder. Allow your hips to open up. Gaze underneath your shoulder. Maybe straighten your standing leg. Square up your hips. Press into the ground. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, warrior two. Find warrior two. Press into the knife edge of your back foot to find a good depth. Lifting the crown of your head. And exhale, extended side angle. Again, push your knee behind you just a little bit. You can take the weight off of it a little by guiding your elbow down to your thigh. But keep your sides even. Inhale, star pose, lift up. Turn your toes in. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Take another couple breaths here just to move around if you need to. One more round of breath.
Inhale, Skandasana to the back of your space. Enjoy your toes up toward the sky, flexing with purpose. You can always find the ground, keep your heart up. Exhale, low lunge at the top of your space. Inhale, grounded airplane or halfway lift. Lift your heart up, lift your foot if you choose. If you cannot find the ground or your blocks here, just do halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Now as we move breath to movement, move fluidly, move with your full breath. Exhale, standing split, fold down. Take an inhale to position your hands and hips. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale to down dog. Take your right leg high, full breath. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, star pose. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, Skandasana to the back of your space. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, grounded airplane, come forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, standing split. Kick your right leg up. Take an inhale to prepare. And exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale to down dog. Inhale your left leg up. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, warrior two. And exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, star. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, Skandasana. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, grounded airplane. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, standing split. Kick your left leg up. Inhale, get prepared to transition. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Take your right leg up. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side. Inhale, star. Exhale, wide-legged fold. Inhale, Skandasana. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, grounded airplane. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, standing split. Position yourself on your breath in. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up. Exhale, down dog. Take your left leg high. Inhale. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side. Inhale, star. Exhale, wide-legged fold. Inhale, Skandasana. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, grounded airplane. Exhale, forward fold. Let's take a seat. Come all the way down. Take a quick rest. Grab a drink. It always reminds me how hard it is when I'm doing it and teaching at the same time. Bring your hands forward. So come into boat when you're ready. The funny thing is that as far as your shoulders go, I really want to pick on them today. You commonly hear a lot of teachers say, bring your pinkies toward each other whenever you're in like Tadasana or like a crescent posture. Where that's true, kinda. What we really want to do, and what they mean to say, is to roll your shoulders. Because I could be in this posture like this, and watch my shoulders, I can move my wrist, there's nothing to be done there. But really I want the movement to come from my shoulder, to spin at the shoulder head, and then bring my shoulders behind my ears, right? My biceps really. So that's the motion that we're looking for in a lot of different postures, especially with your arms over your head. So we're going to challenge that in both. Bring your heels to the ground, squeeze your knees together. So reach forward, find boat pose, like a nice C shape with your spine. So my tailbone's pointed toward my heels, crown of my head up, maybe a little bit that way. So Stay here. Find where your belly just begins to turn on a bit. Now, take that same motion. Inhale, reach up toward the sky. Take your time. A lot of times we throw your arms up overhead and it just compromises your belly. Find your depth. Your belly should start talking to you a little bit. Exhale, slowly lower. So if I did that too fast, it would look like this, like, ugh, and see how my chest and everything moved. That's just abandoning all the work. So collapse in your solar plexus just slightly. Inhale, send your hands overhead. Play with the full range of motion. As soon as you begin to tremble, sometimes that's it. Exhale, lower. Let's take it 3 more times. Inhale, lift. Continue to spin at the head of your shoulders. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one. Exhale, lower. All right, bring it down. So we're going to play around a little bit with some hand to foot stuff. So you can use a strap, but I'd encourage you to try this without a strap on as you're here. So you'll grab, for today, I want you to grab your right hand to your right foot. Grab the ball on your foot, so it's going to feel a little different. Kick your heel forward. Now, your base leg needs to be strong. It needs to be straight and active. So try to lift your heel away from the ground by flexing. Now, when you grab the ball mount of your lifted foot, what happens is the blade of your foot turns forward. Try to pull that back. Okay. Stay lifted and flexed in both toes. And you begin to open your hip, your foot. Okay. Nothing too big. Come back to center. Take your left hand, run it through. So you make kind of like an X above your foot. Hold here. Flex both feet. Kick your top heel forward as hard as you can. Lift your heart toward your knee. Depress your shoulders just slightly. Exhale. Let it bend. Take a second to relax. Try the other side. Take your left hand, cross the top. Grab the ball mount of your foot. Okay. Find your full extension. Straighten your leg. Flex both feet. Okay, so I want to point my toes, my lifted toes, toward where the ground and the wall meet behind me. So I'll flex them and open. Open as much as you can. If you need to reach out to the side, it might help counterbalance in case you fall over or something. Okay, come back to center. Take your take your right hand rather, run it through. This is called Huron Pose. So when you're ready, straighten your leg, keep your base leg nice and strong. Lift your heel, kick your heel to the wall in front of you. Relax, lower it down, bend your leg. Right. What I like to do is 3 roll-ups. Do these in a lot of classes. Honestly, I do them all the time myself. So reach forward, come to boat. Take an inhale here. Exhale, lower all the way down onto your back. Keep your knees right over your hips. As you lower, give each vertebrae time and space alone on the mat. Kick your heels high. Flex your feet, reach back. Inhale. Exhale, reach up to your feet. Inhale, crawl a little bit higher. And exhale, boat pose. Try not to move your knees at all. Lower them down. So keep your knees as still as you can. 2 more times. Exhale, lower all the way back. Your knees will float over your hips. Keep them in a good relationship. Flex your feet. Get your low back on the ground. Exhale, reach up. Inhale a little bit higher. Exhale, boat. Lift your heart. And come on down. Last one, take your time. Exhale, lower back. Take the rest at your own pace. Inhale a little bit more. Boat pose when you're done. All right. So, if you have blocks, put them up next to you. We'll set up a couple L-sits. So from here, I want you to bring your hands right up on top of the blocks, nice and flat. Point your elbows behind you. Bend your knees quite a bit. Take an inhale. So if you don't have blocks, you can just put your hands right on the ground next to you. Bend your knees a little bit extra. When you're ready, exhale, press into your hands. Stack your shoulders over your wrists, and then hinge back as much as you can. Gaze down toward your knees. Lower down. All right, 2 more. The key there is to press out all your stale breath. That way you're kind of floating on an empty stomach, okay? So 2 more here. Take an inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, press, lift. When you're empty, hinge back. Maybe float your foot, a foot, maybe 2. Come on down. Okay. Last one. Exhale, lift. Hinge back. Maybe float a toe or 2, or a heel or 2. Come on down. Good work. Press up, come into Malasana. Now get a hold of your breath. A lot of times in your yoga practice, you breathe fluidly. Match your movement with your breath. Then we begin to abandon that when we start doing weird things like in core work. It's a really good time to get a hold of it again. When you're ready, let's crawl back to downward facing dog. Take an inhale, lift your right leg. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, high crescent. Reach straight up. Get the ball mount of your back foot on the ground. Try to get your heel over on top of it. Once you're there, you need to squeeze your leg straight, and your right hip bone back. Stay for a few breaths here. Set up pyramid pose next. So back your back foot in just slightly. That way your whole foot can get on the ground, your heel especially. Now act as though you have a beach ball in between your hands, or if you have blocks, you can use one to press it between your palms. And exhale, pyramid pose. We'll go halfway down and freeze. Gaze forward a little bit, try to find an extra lift in your spine, lift in your heart maybe. Exhale, fold the rest of the way. You notice your back heel wants to come up, and we can't quite get it on the ground. Just shorten the stance slightly. Work to squeeze your front leg straight. Bring your right hip back and down just a bit. In some classes you may hear to make a forehead to knee connection. But here in pyramid pose, what I want you to do is guide your collarbone all the way toward your toes. Straighten your front leg, continue to guide forward and down. Release your palms. And step your back foot back, set up kind of a warrior stance. Inhale, triangle pose. Squeeze your front leg straight, open up toward the left side of the room. Block is a really nice tool here. Press into the ground as you lift. Guide your hips back so your side bodies are even. One more long breath. Inhale, reverse triangle. Keep your feet stationary, reach straight up toward the sky. Instead of reaching to the back, try to grab the ceiling right ahead of you, right up above you rather. Exhale, runner's lunge, come on down. So this version of runner's lunge, take your right foot to the top right corner of your mat. And then guide your hips forward. Stay upright though. Lost your focal point, bring it back to your mind now. If your intention is a difficult one to imagine or remain focused on, what I find helps me a lot is to create a symbol or an image in my mind. So the image is something that you can paint with your mind very easily. Just allow your eyes to close. Create some sort of painting. What it would look like, or some sort of feeling that comes from it. I imagine a symbol would be just as useful. Let's bring your foot back to center. Press into your left hand. Inhale, side plank or Vashisthasana. Open up toward the right, stack your hips and shoulders. Stay even on both sides, so not too low, not too high. Right in the middle. One long breath. Exhale, plank to Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Let's take your left leg high. Exhale, lunge. High crescent when you breathe in. Position your low body. Pull your belly in. Find that same motion we established in both pose, your upper arm and your shoulders and arms. One more breath here. Stack your back foot in. Set up pyramid pose. Exhale, fold halfway. Hold there for a moment. Maybe gaze forward. Can you straighten your arms even more? Exhale, fold the rest of the way. With most forward folds, there's a little bit of a dance here. With every inhale, find length. Every exhale, find surrender and ease. So triangle pose. Back your back foot out. Inhale, Trikonasana. If the block is helpful, use it. And play with the direction of your shoulders to iron out your sides, as well as your hips. If you have the tendency to push down on your shin, I'd encourage you to avoid that. Find a block or maybe push on the inside of your shin. It's better. Inhale, reverse triangle. And length from your pinky finger all the way down to your hip, reach as high as you can. And exhale, runner's lunge. And back to your focal point. Allow any thought patterns or any fantasies that come up, just kind of come in and go. You don't need to follow them or be distracted for long. Bring your hand back underneath. So your right hand underneath your shoulder. Inhale, side plank, Vashisthasana. Take a variation that's helpful. Maybe one that challenges. Next, exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, travel to the top of your space. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let's take your feet apart. Let's take a hand to foot variation. So either grab your big toes or step onto your palms all the way. In any case, bend your knees. Collapse your chest down. Release your grip. Bring your toes together. Let's take your right hand, grab a hold of the ball mount of your right foot. Remember what we did in boat pose? Now let's try to do that standing. So, with your foot in your hand, inhale, rise up. Now this might be an awkward kind of grab for you, but that's okay. Let's just play around with something new. When you're ready, and you can use a strap for this for sure. When you're ready, inhale, kick your heel forward. You can straighten your leg, but I want your base leg and your spine upright. If you'd like to open up your hip, you can. Again, flex your toes, try to point them back. Back to center. Take your left hand, go through. Once you're here, press into your standing foot, lift your heel. Guide your heart toward your knee. Exhale, tree pose. Take a moment to ground back down. Notice your heart rate is a bit out of control. Try to guide it down with your breath. Inhale, warrior three. Get your right leg back. Keep your heart lifted. From a teaching standpoint, what we usually see is people working really hard to lift their foot, but then they're down here in their chest. So find a little lift, extra lift in your heart. Square your hips. Do it manually with your hands. Keep your hips square, your standing leg strong. Maybe your biceps up next to your ears. Upward rotation in your shoulders. Exhale, forward fold, let it go. Inhale, halfway lift. Lift your heart. Let's take your feet apart again. Take any hand to toe variation that feels good. A third variation, other than just grabbing your toes or stepping onto your palms, is to step your heels onto your hands. Here, I want my forearms behind my calves. And then fold all the way down. Release whatever you got. Bring your toes together. We'll try the other side. So take your left hand to your left foot. Inhale, rise. So I'm not extending my leg rather until everything else is strong. And when I'm ready, inhale, kick. Retract your shoulder, push it down slightly. Flex your toes, maybe open. In the center, take Huron Pose. Reach across, grab a hold. Again, re-engaging your base leg, lift your leg up. Stomp your heel forward. Tree pose when you're done. And stay a little bit longer if you'd like. next inhale, warrior three. Dig your heel back. Your fingers as far as you can forward if it works, if it helps. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. It's a nice opportunity to try a jump back, to land softly with your bent elbows. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And step your right foot forward. Inhale, warrior one. Angle your back foot out, reach up. Now push into the knife edge of your back foot, lean further forward. A long breath here. Maybe gaze up. Exhale, take a bind. Try to get your palms together. Inhale, puff up your chest. Exhale, humble warrior. Now get your right shoulder on the inside of your knee, and then hug them together. Send your hands toward the front of the room. Feel tension in your shoulders. Let's release to a low lunge. Now inhale, easy twist. Reach your right hand high. The same kind of sensation. Pull your knee toward your midline. If you want to just hang on to it here, you can do that. Exhale, plank. This time lower all the way to the ground. Take a bind behind your back. Inhale, Baddha, Baum Locust Pose, Baddha Shalambasana. So you lift your heart, lift everything off the ground until your hip points. Send your hands high. Exhale, release, rest. Push back to down dog. Step your left foot forward. Inhale, warrior one. Your ribs square to the front. Gaze up if it feels good. Add a little extra back bend there. Exhale, take a bind. Puff up your chest. Exhale, humble warrior. Shake out any tension in your neck. Let's release, slow lunge. Inhale, easy twist. And if you want to reach high, you can. Keep your knee and your shoulder toward each other. And squeeze your back leg straight. Exhale, plank. This time, lower to the ground, set up bow pose. Kick your heels toward your bum, grab a hold of your ankles or your feet. Your next inhale, floor bow. Release. Relax for a couple breaths. Just press into your palms. Set up pigeon necks. So you can't come back all the way to down dog. And take your right leg, or your knee rather, toward your wrist and settle down. I think everybody's got their own little nuances here, but You don't have to bring your shin parallel with the front of your mat. I hear that a lot. It's another flagrant issue, causes a knee problem. Just find what you need. Nice angle is fine usually. And then find a little lift in your heart. When you're ready, you pigeon down. Rest so that the outside of your hip can open softly. One more breath. Let's push out, take a counter stretch. So you can kick up and back, open like this to stack your hips, bend your knee. You're gonna need motions to get fresh blood flow moving. Let's take the other side. Left leg high, exhale pigeon. Put your pigeon down when you're done. Rise out. And take the same counter stretch you took on the other side. Kick up and over. Open up your hip. And just kick around. Come on down to your knees. Let's take your legs out in front of you. So I'm going to go into Konasana, which is wide angle pose. Now, I use a block like crazy on this one. So what I do is I sit on the block here. Then I kind of find the edge of the block, so I tilt my pelvis forward that way. Once you're there, if you have two blocks, my favorite way is to inhale, reach up, and dive forward, place the block down, use it to guide me a bit extra forward. I really need this one a lot. Take your time, find your depth. Draw your toes behind you, flex them back. And slowly rise out. You can come off your block if you're on one. Pick your right leg in, inhale, reach up. Or you know what? Hook your elbow on the inside of your thigh. Exhale, reach all the way up and over toward your toes. So keep your shoulders stacked. Straighten your arm as much as you can. If your toes are in your reach, feel free to grab them. If they're not, act like they're just out of reach. Keep your right hip, sit bone down on the ground. Slowly rise out. Bend your left leg behind you. Exhale, twisted deer. In the center. Try the other side, so Jana Shavasana on this side. Be like the side bend version. So when you're ready, use your bottom elbow as leverage. Inhale, lift up and over. Continue to spiral your heart up toward the sky. Slowly rise up. And instead of twisted deer, bend your other leg. Just turn over your shoulder. So if you enjoyed this sequence today, especially if you went through the whole thing, feel free to subscribe to our channel. That way at least you'll get some updates every time we post something new. Crystal and I are always trying to find new ways to reach out to the community, and YouTube is just one of them. We also have tons of courses that we offer, some of which are for free, so you can feel free to jump into some of those courses online. If you're ever interested in deepening your practice off your mat, some of the other courses that we offer are really excellent for diving into the philosophy and personalizing your practice. So, to set up Paschimottanasana next. Send your hands up toward the sky. Bend your knees if you'd like. Exhale, fold. Now this style of practice, you probably got a lot of length in the back of your legs, your low back, so you may be able to find some really good depth right now. Take advantage. Two more rounds of breath. Continue to dance as you do. Inhale, guide your heart forward. Exhale, melt down. Maybe straighten your legs a little more. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Straighten. Maybe turn your legs in toward each other. Slowly rise up. Make your way all the way down onto your back. Take one round of bridge pose. Bring your heels in. Keep your hands right up next to your sides. Inhale, lift your hips. Press into your heels so your toes can lift. As long as you can turn on your belly muscles, try to turn them on as hard as you can, and then drive your knees forward. You can find a bunch of length on the front of your hips, your quads, in front of your thighs. Exhale, release. Let's take happy baby pose. Grab the outsides of your feet. Keep your low back on the ground here. So as you lift up, press your sacrum down on the mat. Draw your knees toward your armpits. Hug your knees into your chest. You can rock side to side if you'd like. Your next breath out, take Shavasana, corpse pose. Take up as much space as you need. Use this time to bring back your focal point. Ideally, the image or symbol of your intention today. Hold on to that focal point throughout Shavasana.
fix, focus. It's natural for thoughts to come up, tempt you to follow them or distract you. Allow them to pass through you, remain focused. A moment to acknowledge your thought patterns. Did the focal point help? Maybe did you lose it? It's okay if you did. It's something to practice, something to work. Let's begin to invite small motions in your fingers and your toes. Up your body. When you're ready, take a good morning stretch. Reach over your head, along from the tips of your fingers all the way to your toes. And exhale over to a fetal pose. Use fetal pose as a reminder of your focal point, your intention for today. Be sure to carry it with you into your daily living. Come up to a comfortable seat. Any cross-legged position will do. Bring your hands to your heart. Sit tall. Just breathe together. Take a full exhale. Dump out all your stale breath. Inhale. Exhale softly. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. The light in me, the energy in me, is the same light, the same energy that's in each of you. Namaste.